I said, the first thing I told you about the friction, right? That you're feeling an itch about something, you want to change something, you want to improve something. So the first step in the design thinking framework tells you empathize, understand the needs, right? You have a friction, but just ask yourself, what is it that I really want? Or what is it that people will really want? The second is you define that, you articulate that problem, right? I mean, you might be Mr. or Miss Scatterbrains, thinking about all sorts of things. You ultimately have to look at everything and synthesize it into a common strand about what exactly is it that I'm trying to do, what exactly is it that I'm trying to change. The guy at Netflix would have thought that from hundreds of scattered ideas, I think in the end was a problem definition that I'd like to have an on-demand movie beamed directly to a customer who wants it, right? That is what I want to achieve. You ideate. You ideate in terms of how will you do that, right? We've all heard the story, I think, in our primary years about the mice and the cat, and they said, yeah, let's bell the cat so we'll know when she's coming. But then the question was, who's going to bell the cat? She'll eat you up if you kind of go and try to put a bell around her thing. So I think you ideate that what you're thinking, what is possible, how are you going to get there. The next step is prototyping. Whatever you've thought in your head, you prototype it, you kind of try to build a small working model. So for example, Zomato, most of you probably know Zomato, I'm sure. You are consumers, you order. So do you know how Zomato really started? So Zomato again started with a person saying that why can't I have all the restaurant menus in one consolidated place that I can see instead of going to hundreds of different websites, or perhaps most of these restaurants even did not have websites. To be honest, there were hardly, before Zomato came, I would say probably there were like 5 or 6 restaurants that would have probably have their menus on websites. So he was like, as a consumer, why can't the menus be accessible that people can see and see, okay, that place has this thing of my choice and let me go there. So Zomato's first prototype was as simple as a website with scanned menus of restaurants just uploaded onto there. That's how crude Zomato was when it started, and just obviously see where it is here. So the founder didn't get trapped into just thinking about the final product and just wasting years and years to kind of get there. They said, okay, let me just start. He started with this uploaded menus, watched the website matrices just to see that were people actually coming and using that information. And they were very upbeat when they saw that a lot of people were coming in and accessing that data. So he said, okay, people are accessing this data, so now let me make this a little more meaningful. Let me refine this website. They tested it, obviously, with anything that you've done, anything that you've made. The best thing is your friends, your immediate community, test it out with them, right? That, hey, this is what I've thought of, and this is what I've kind of, a little thing that I've made. Maybe it's crude. Would you use it? What do you think about it, right? And the thing is that if people around you will like it, the chances are other people will like it too.